My girlfriend cheated on me at work when I was at my grandmother's funeral. For a remarkable 5-year stretch, I, a 23-year-old man, was deeply involved with a remarkable woman, aged 24, whom I believed to be my true love. Our relationship was an unbreakable fortress, free from any shadow of infidelity. Her familial struggles became our shared burden, and I provided unwavering support, even sheltering her during times of distress. We embarked on endless journeys together, meticulously planned our lives, and found boundless joy in each other's company. It's hard to overstate the sheer perfection of our union. Arguments never descended into shouting matches or toxicity. Instead, we always engaged in open, honest dialogue, often centered on our aspirations for the future. Earlier this year, in April, I faced the loss of my beloved grandmother, a person incredibly dear to me. Her funeral, held abroad in Mexico, demanded representation from my family. Stepping into my father's shoes, unable to attend, I traveled to bid her farewell. Before departing, I visited my partner early in the morning to share my intentions. Though she couldn't accompany me due to financial constraints, she wished me well and urged me to stay safe, embracing me with a heartfelt goodbye kiss, expressing her concern and support. Upon arriving in Mexico, I swiftly made my way to my grandmother's residence where a solemn rosary was taking place. While engaging with my family, I made continuous efforts to keep my partner updated, yet I sensed an uncharacteristic air about her. Our discussions revealed her apparent distress, leading to a brief disagreement, leaving us bidding each other goodnight. The following morning commenced with familial obligations, organizing, and preparing for the funeral. However, throughout the day, my partner's responses were delayed, and her demeanor appeared increasingly irritable. My attempts to reassure and understand her struggles seemed futile. Unexpectedly, her communication ceased altogether, which I initially attributed to erratic reception in certain parts of town. The subsequent morning marked the day of my grandmother's funeral, a deeply emotional moment for me. My thoughts revolved around honoring her memory as I grappled with the weight of her loss. Despite the tumult of emotions, I also fulfilled the role of one of the pallbearers in the funeral procession. I woke up, sent a heartfelt morning message to my girlfriend, informing her of the imminent loss of reception during my grandmother's cemetery visit. A painful reminder echoed as I recalled that my grandmother's side of the family harbored animosity towards me, leaving me without any familial support. The burial took place amidst my profound grief, tears streaming down my face as I journeyed back from the cemetery, a customary path in the small town where pallbearers carry the casket from the house to its final resting place. Upon returning to my grandmother's residence, I glanced at my phone, hoping for solace. Relief washed over me at the sight of a message from my girlfriend. Yet, the contents of her text shattered me. With no preamble, apology, or elucidation, she abruptly ended our relationship. Panic surged through me, a sensation akin to impending demise. The weight of loss, both for my grandmother and in this devastating moment, constricted my chest, crumbling my world. Instinctively, I dialed her number, desperate for clarity, but her response was stark. "Don't do this." The line went dead, and within moments, I found myself blocked across all channels of communication, stranded in a sea of bewildering heartbreak. I was initially going to spend a week and a half in Mexico. With everything going on, I used up all of the money. I had to get a ticket home the earliest I could. The earliest I could fly home was in 2 days, and I had no contact with her at all. My sister was her boss, so I called her and asked if she knew anything, and she said that she didn't, but my girlfriend would be working later and she would see what she could find out. I went out with some cousins for the day, and as I was eating dinner with them, my sister called me. She told me that she didn't get to talk to her, but she saw her acting friendly with a guy at work. I knew the guy from high school, and I knew he wasn't exactly a great person, so I feel like in that moment I knew the truth without needing any more information. I broke down and went to a park to sit alone. The next morning, I get a call from my sister. She broke the news to me. A guy coworker of hers is friends with the first guy I mentioned. It turns out they slept together, and the guy was sending pictures to a group chat where he was bragging. To make things worse, the guy is an absolute bum. He does hard drugs and had just lost his job at McDonald's for showing up high. I'm a full-time college student who works at an elementary school. I was so broken and alone in Mexico. My flights were canceled and I couldn't get my money back, so I maxed my credit cards to make it home. Once home, the only method I was able to reach her is by texting her on TikTok, where she told me she had nothing to say and that she wanted to meet in person to end it. I met her in person to try and understand, but I got nothing. I left and continued to grieve both my losses. I haven't been able to cry, and I don't know anything anymore. It's been months. I had kept her on social media, but she had been posting petty things like captions saying, "And suddenly I was free." It haunts me considering I had given her my absolute everything. We were best friends. We carried each other's phones. Went on romantic trips. We're planning on moving in together. Talked about our future careers. I don't even know where to begin again. The guy she cheated on me with left her for another girl a week after she cheated on me with. I found out she was with him for 3 nights while I was in Mexico trying to get home. He is currently homeless in Reno, and from what I've heard, she's with another guy already. To this day, I don't understand. Okay, next intriguing story. I discovered my wife of 10 years in an affair. Is she a total narcissist? Approximately a year ago, I began sensing a growing emotional distance from my wife. Attributing it to potential stressors like her new job and online studies, I resolved to rejuvenate our relationship around February. My approach involved assuming more household responsibilities, grocery shopping, cleaning, laundry, along with pampering gestures like funding her lunches, arranging dates, and buying gifts, all aimed at alleviating her stress and fostering closeness between us. Despite my efforts, I only asked her to handle one task, taking out the trash, which she consistently neglected, leaving it unattended for an astonishing 3 weeks. While I admittedly hesitated to take on the job myself out of a sense of fairness, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was already shouldering most other responsibilities. Over time, I battled a severe sinus infection. Despite consulting multiple doctors and spending a substantial amount of money, none could diagnose my condition. Consequently, I struggled to keep up with household tasks. When I turned to my wife for assistance, her response was disheartening. She remained unresponsive to my plea. Our disagreement over this escalated to a fight one day before she left for work. She brushed off my concerns, claiming it wasn't a significant issue she needed to address promptly. As my health deteriorated, her lack of attention fueled my growing apprehension that she might be involved with someone else. One night, I confronted her about the possibility of seeing someone else. She vehemently denied it and, in the ensuing 2-hour conversation, reassured me with promises of being a more attentive and devoted spouse, attributing her recent behavior to stress. Surprisingly, the following 2 weeks showed marked improvement. She actively engaged in household chores, cooking, and being more present. However, suspicions resurfaced one night, prompting me to check her phone while she slept, a regrettable breach of trust stemming from a need for clarity. To my dismay, I discovered thousands of messages exchanged with a married coworker, containing flirtatious undertones reminiscent of high school banter. Among these, I found one discussing plans for him to visit our home, strategically arranged around my schedule. Confronting her immediately, she evaded discussion, hastily leaving for her sister's after a heated exchange. At this juncture, sleep eludes me entirely. Seeking solace, I reach out to a few friends who come over to provide comfort. The following day, I manage to speak with her, and she confesses to infidelity. When I inquire about her intentions, she admits uncertainty about what she wants. Directly questioning whether she desires to remain with me yields the same uncertain response. In the subsequent days, we maintain some level of contact. She claims to have severed ties with the other person and expresses a desire to salvage our relationship. During a meeting, I request to review her phone bill to verify her claims, only to discover a multitude of messages sent to his number. Questioning her about these lies, she offers no clear explanation. When asked about her feelings, she admits to loving both him and me, unable to make a definitive choice between us. In the following meetings, I found myself engaging in what felt like a futile attempt to win her back. Despite her verbal commitment to salvaging our relationship, her actions spoke volumes as she increasingly distanced herself. She insisted she wasn't involved with the other person, but I discovered she had booked a hotel room for 3 days the weekend prior. Agreeing on a period of no contact to gain clarity, on my birthday, I reached out, expressing my decision to end things and seek legal counsel. However, she ignored my message, failing even to acknowledge my birthday, opting instead to spend the night at another hotel. The day after, she texted, claiming she needed more time to contemplate and belatedly wished me a happy birthday. Furious, I sought counsel from others, uncovering that she had been unfaithful before our marriage. Despite her lingering hope for reconciliation, her actions betrayed her intentions. I discovered she was solely focused on communicating with this other person and frequently going out with him, illustrated by a 7-hour phone call they had one day. What do you think should be done in this situation? Write your opinion in the comments and also click the subscribe button to follow further actions. Let's get 1,000 subscribers before the new year. I love you.